Welcome back to Let 'Em Cook. Today we're going to be making truffles. And then we roll the intro. I've been making these truffles for quite a little bit now. And there's still one part of the recipe that I don't have written down, but we're gonna try to fix that today. This is an adapted recipe from the Loopy Whisk. I don't want to say this, but the actual truffles that this recipe makes, I think are absolutely atrocious. They're literally the nastiest things ever. But credit where credit is due. This was by the Loopy Whisk. We'll just get started. First step, it's half a cup of melted coconut oil, still warm. Very fluid. Then I will add 1 cup of baking cocoa powder. Boom. Almost all the cocoa powder. And then we're gonna add a pinch of salt. Then we're gonna add honey. This is raw honey. You really weren't supposed to use raw honey for this recipe, but we are.
Have you used raw honey before?
Every time I've made them.
Oh, okay. So then this is your recipe. This is your adapted.
Oh yeah. One-4 cup of honey. So with this recipe, you can use honey or maple syrup or a combination of both, which I have done before, and it turns out just fine. All these ingredients are very hard to put in this mixture for some reason, don't worry. Okay, now we need to whisk it. See, it being warm will help the cocoa powder and the honey mix in. If it was cold, it would be hard, but if it wasn't warm enough, it wouldn't mix in properly. Okay, this is what we have so far. Look, see, it's very chocolate looking. Almost like a ganache. Okay, so now that we've got it all mixed together very well, make sure there's no like oily pockets from the oil. Now we're gonna add 2 and a little bit more tablespoons of milk. So while stirring, you're gonna take 1. You're gonna start whisking it in. Then you can go and get your other one. So the exact amount is 6.5 teaspoons. I've just always used a tablespoon because it's way easier than getting out 6 teaspoons of milk. See, it's looking even chocolatier. So this is where my recipe and the original recipe go completely different. This recipe really only calls for the coconut oil, the salt, the honey, the cocoa powder, and the milk. Or it's actually water in this recipe, but I use milk. If you taste this, which I will go ahead and... You taste it, Roger? Taste that. It tastes like you're eating straight cocoa powder. It's literally nasty. And it's not even like I don't like dark chocolate. It literally just tastes like cocoa powder. So I use powdered sugar always when making this. And that is the only part that I don't have written down. Well, it's not part I don't have written down. And I just mix it in there until I taste it and I like it. But I'm going to record how much I use because I have 1/4 cup here. I'm just gonna add it and mix it together every time I add it in till it's to my liking. Also, if I seem like I'm acting off in this video, I'm not feeling well. I have my wisdom teeth coming in and I'm not a happy camper, so, but it's fine. Also, when making this recipe, I don't know how this would set up into a truffle really, because it's so loose. But adding the powdered sugar gives it a wonderful texture.
It's unrecognizable from the
My free whisk.
Oh no.
I got this from the library.
That's not good.
For free. It's fine. It's fine. Wasn't emotionally attached to it. Like I say whenever I'm baking or anything, it's a little whiskey. That joke landed hard. Also, here you can add a little bit of vanilla.
That's plenty.
I think this makes 1 cup of powdered sugar. It looks cherry. Okay. This is why I use my whisk always, because it's a lot, the holes in between are a lot bigger. Okay, it was Roger's idea to use a potato masher to start mixing this. And the funny thing is, I have one. We have one that is like the waffle pattern type of one, but he was talking about the one that was like this. And I got this for free at the library. Just like the whisk, but a different time. So let's try that. So the original recipe for this was actually vegan. So it used water instead of milk. And it was also supposed to be healthy, so it only used the honey for sweetener. I really don't know if the honey does anything texture-wise. If I knew it didn't, I wouldn't add it, but I don't know that it doesn't, so I always do. But so, you know, it was a vegan recipe, so you know it's not gonna be amazing. Okay, let me see, is this enough? You know, if you want to do sweeter, if you taste it and it's not sweet enough, put more powdered sugar in it. It shouldn't mess with the texture too much unless you add an absolute ton. Also, the whole masher idea wasn't actually that horrible. It's easier to get out of this than the other thing. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a little plastic wrap. We're gonna take a little wax paper. So we're gonna take this in a container with some wax paper in it, or parchment. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna cover it up, we're gonna put it in the freezer for 30 minutes. Okay, we're back. We let it chill in the freezer for 30 minutes. Now we can take it out. We're going to scoop it out into individual scoops. We're gonna use sweetened coconut flakes for them. On the outside, you can cover them with cocoa powder, powdered sugar, or the coconut flakes, and it's all very good. So we're gonna go scoop them all out, and we're gonna get them all ready. Ooh, did you see how well that did? This scooper is kind of messed up, but we're still using it. You could just take a tablespoon and scoop it out. You roll them with your hands anyway. Okay, now we have them all rolled out, or not rolled out. We have them all scooped out into individual pieces. Some of them, as you can see, are quite a bit smaller than some of them. That's because I was making them very big in the beginning, bigger than they were supposed to be, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. We're just gonna take them and with a little bit of the powdered sugar, roll them up. You know, if you have little kids, they would love to roll out this. It's very messy though. And they'll probably end up with more chocolate on them than you will get. So I don't know if anybody knows this that's watching this, but the reason they're called truffles is after the truffle mushroom. And that's why they're usually dusted with cocoa powder. And they're very, like, you make them with your hands imperfectly round. That's why they're called truffles. I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit of powdered sugar over top of them, because you put the powdered sugar on them when you roll them to keep them from sticking to your hands. But then you also want the outside to have a little bit of powdered sugar on them so they won't stick together. Then we'll take the coconut flakes. And this is only if you want coconut on the outside of them. They're good if you just roll them in the powdered sugar or the cocoa powder. Though they will be very bitter on the outside if you roll them in cocoa powder. So I just take it and then sort of form it again in your hand just a little bit. And then you don't have to have it completely coated. And I just set it in the container. So there we have the truffles. They're all rolled out. You can see some of them are coconut, some of them are powdered sugar. Just powdered sugar. You're just gonna set these, you put the lid on the container, you set these in the fridge. And you're supposed to let them set up anywhere from 30 minutes to overnight, and then they'll be done. But the longer you wait, the truer the texture will be. Okay, let's go get the truffles. Here they are. Those look good. So, get one.
The rest is yours.
Fine. If you think they look extra soft, it's because we didn't actually wait to let them set up. They'll get much firmer than this.
Yeah.
That's too squishy. Thanks for watching. This was Let 'Em Cook. And don't forget, if there's anything you want me to make, to put it down in the comments. And we'll see you next time. Bye.